So, welcome to today's MindPrime Podcast. And today's show, we're going to be talking about something that affects millions of women all around the world. And it's something that is not really spoken about, is overshadowed, and a lot of people don't really understand it. So, today's episode, we've got an amazing lady on who is an expert in the menopause and also weight loss during this time. So, I'd like to welcome onto the show the amazing, wonderful Jackie Grant. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. There's something I wanted to ask you really about what made you get into menopause as your expertise, really? Was it like a story or a journey, a personal one to you?
Okay, so it's a long story. I'll cut it short though.
We got time.
So how it was actually by accident. I literally was trying to find. So when I became a PT, I wanted to focus on hormones, specifically PCOS, because of having PCOS myself. So
Oh,
what happened was I was looking like for a course at the time that was specific to women going through PCS. There was nothing. So I found menopause and fitness, and this was a online course, and it was actually the my mentor. I still speak to her because I did that in 2014, and that was it online, but she was in Australia, and so I did that online. But you could like actually speak to her as she was going through the course and stuff like that. So that's basically how I fell into working with women with menopause.
wow. It's incredible how like things just fall into place almost by accident, but on purpose.
Mm, exactly,
So
exactly.
there's so much that I wanted to ask you because when I was a teenager, my mum went through the menopause early. She did lots of fertility medication and it made her go through the menopause quite early. And I remember at the time, she was always moody. It felt like she was always sweating, always moody, and always in a bad mood. And a
Mm,
lot of people will see this with family members who are going through it.
mm.
What do you think is, how do you think the menopause affects their mental health for people?
So yeah, I could start off by telling you a story. My own story
Yeah.
around it is that I actually left my job as a result of being in perimenopause, which I didn't actually know I was in perimenopause at the time. So um, I um, I actually was suffering from anxiety. So what was happening? I was getting really anxious, but I just thought it was because of my job because I was a senior manager in drug and alcohol services. So I thought it was the job.
Stress, yeah.
Um, and the anxiety was when I was coming in and I'd have to get on and off the tube. So I literally live in Walthamstow, and to get to King's Cross, which is only like I think it's 5 stops,
And take 10 years.
I had to get on and off the tube just to get into work,
Hmm.
because I just got anxious with the crowds, and that was just it was really overwhelming. So um, yeah, I thought it was my job, but anyway, as a result, I was like, this job is doing me in. I just think I'm stressed and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So really, I took 2 weeks off because I thought, oh, I just need 2 weeks off. So I took 2 weeks off. And then in that time, I went for 7 interviews. Well, actually, I only went to 5 of them.
Decided not to.
Yeah, I was like, oh, not another one. Because it's funny because what are they called? Virgin do this thing called the V Factor, and it is like you're on a game show. So anyway,
I've never heard of it.
so I thought I'd decide not to go for the interview for them. So when I came back, like I basically got a job in Nuffields, and then they said they couldn't wait 3 months because obviously I had 3 months notice.
Yes.
And so when I went back to work, I said, "Oh, I want to leave. Can I leave early?" And they were like, "No, you've got to stay to do the 3 months." So that was the worst 3 months of my life because
Yeah. You
everyone
make
kept
a
saying,
decision, right, to leave, and then you're stuck with,
exactly, you're stuck there.
yeah, hit me out.
And so the anxiety didn't get any better.
I bet.
Yeah, do you know? Exactly. Didn't get any better. As a result, I've had to stay in there, and everyone kept going to me, "Are you leaving? I thought you were leaving."
Eventually.
So yeah, so that was like my first kind of um part that I felt that like my mental health, because I'd never suffered from anxiety before, and it moved into driving. So like I could drive anywhere, you know, I could drive Manchester, Liverpool, wherever,
Yeah,
and it stopped me from being able to drive like far distances. So if I don't know where I'm going,
yeah.
and it might be a bridge or something, I'm like I'm terrible with bridges now, flyovers. So it's yeah, it's basically really affected
Your whole
my
life, I guess, because that would have stopped you from doing like what you normally like to do.
yeah, exactly.
And
So the train takes me everywhere now.
the train that you didn't want to get in the beginning. Oh, that is so interesting though that it showed up first as anxiety
Yeah.
because many people suffer anxiety and stress and they
Mm,
wouldn't put the connection between it. So
mm.
how did you find out that it was menopause and not just plain anxiety?
Because um because I left work in 2013, and then I'd already done my PT training before, so the year before. So when I into 2014, when I did the training, it started to click, you
Yeah.
know, like the information that I was getting told in the course, and I was like, oh, that could be that. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I was, you know, before it was just all called menopause. There was no peri and all this
Yeah.
at that point. So that is how I kind of got to discover that I was, you know, in early kind of menopause, really, because I was what, 41?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That is quite early, but I know a lot of people do. Some people go for it really early as well, and
Yes.
really late. So is there any like misconceptions that you know of about menopause that people believe that is not really true?
What, that HRT helps with weight loss? It
Yeah.
doesn't.
I've heard that it doesn't, or that it hasn't helped with their moods. Um,
Some people, I think what we got to remember is that it's individual. Everyone's individual, and something what are going to work for some people and some are not going to work for others. Do you know what I mean? So potentially some people could feel that, you know, it helps with their mood, whereas others will say no, it hasn't, you know. And you know, the key thing that I see is that it mainly helps with hot flushes,
mhm.
and you know, joint pain, you know, those kind of things. um but you know, and some people have said overall mood, but you know, some people have said I'm never coming off of it. So you know,
Yeah.
like
I guess it's very personal. I think
it
'cause
is.
I'm very much into different like holistic health and trying different things to help
Yes,
yourself. So even
exactly.
me, I've had clients come for hot flushes. I do hypnosis on hot flushes,
Yeah,
which is incredible because you can actually dial down your temperature.
yeah,
So there is a lot of stuff that you could do
that's right,
instead.
that's right.
What is it that you do that you would recommend for people to do to help their symptoms?
Yeah, so I mean, I everything I do is holistic and natural. It, you know, the thing is that, you know, if someone comes to me and they're using HRT, that's fine,
Yeah.
but you need to use HRT in combination with
Mhm.
making lifestyle changes. So really I work with women around their mindset, around nutrition and exercise. Yeah. So making sure that you focus on the key things, which would be, you know, sleep, stress management, movement, and nutrition, really. So making sure that you're covering all those areas, because they're key. You
Mhm.
know, taking a medication is just, you know, kind of like, it's not getting to the root of the
Yeah.
problem. And
Hmm.
that's what you want to get. You want to get to the root of the problem. You want to feel like you have made a, you know, it's having the controllables. I can take control of what I put in my mouth. I can
Yeah.
take control of whether I walk down the road. I can take control if I decide to have hypnosis with you. Do you see what I'm saying? That's things that I can control. So, whereas I can't control if I take HRT and it doesn't work initially, and I have to like be ages working it out. Do you know what I mean? What dosage and all that. But I can start off before you do that
Yeah.
with those changes. And that's what I think. And that's what I work with my clients.
It's amazing. I love that you said how you said it, that you love that you do connect almost like the mind, the body, and soul. It's kind of what I preach to everybody who comes to
Yeah.
work with me. Like,
Yeah.
take care of your sleep, take care of your eat, before, and then your mind will all work together.
Yeah.
So I love
Exactly.
that. Um,
Exactly.
is there any like tips that you can give people who are actually gaining weight? Because I know you do a lot of weight loss with women. Is there anything that they could do like today that could start taking control?
Okay, so the first thing I would say is that because a lot of women they don't eat breakfast. That would be my main
I
thing.
skipped that as well. I try so hard not to, and I've tried to do shakes or anything just to have something in the morning. Especially when I was trying to eat healthy, I made sure that I tried to eat, but I find it really hard to stomach stuff in the morning. Do you,
Right.
do you get a
Okay.
lot of women like that?
Okay. You find it hard to stomach stuff.
Yes, I
Okay.
don't want to eat too much.
So is it a time thing? So what time do you normally eat?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. So I wake up at like 7,
Yes.
and then I need a few hours before I can eat.
Yes.
Mhm.
That's fine, isn't it? So
Yeah.
you probably do you eat at 9 or something like that?
If
Half
I, if I force myself, yes. Otherwise, I'll just skip
nine?
it completely and just have lunch. I know it's bad, but I need to get a hang of that. But I'm guessing a lot of women are like that about.
Yeah.
So is it really important to eat breakfast, especially when you're going through the menopause?
Yes, because you want to make sure that you get enough protein in. So if you're skipping one of the meals,
Yeah,
then you've only got two left to, and maybe a snack
yeah,
to get in for the day. And if you work out how much, I mean, I always say to people, try to have at least a palm of protein in each meal. Yeah.
so for
And
breakfast, so protein, and especially in breakfast, so like eggs or something for breakfast.
yeah, eggs. Yeah. You can even have steak if you want,
Steak.
steak
How
and
fancy you think I am?
eggs.
I'm eating steak for breakfast on my
Yeah,
yacht.
I thought I'd throw that one in. Okay.
Oh. So if you eat a handful of protein for
Yeah,
every
so a
meal,
palm size of protein, definitely in, each meal and even in your snacks, because you want to make sure, because what it is that we're, as we age, we lose muscle mass, like, 3 to 8% of muscle mass each decade, right?
yeah.
So, and then after 50, it goes up, you know, so
Oh, I didn't
in
know that. So it
terms of the
goes.
loss,
So after 50, your muscle mass goes back up.
no, loses even more.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I was like,
I wish it goes back up.
yeah.
Anyway,
So that's why.
so you really need to try and get that breakfast in, really. So,
Mhm.
my key thing would be to the first thing is just to make sure that you're getting 3 meals a day, really. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And kind of that would be my first port of call, because what it is sometimes what we tend to do is we want to do everything, but what we need to do is just take one step at a time. Get those 3 meals in,
Yeah.
say, 4 or 5 weeks, you feel right, I'm on it, that's a habit. Then what am I going to do? The next thing, I could bring in water, make sure I'm getting enough water, because
Mhm.
that's another key thing that we want to do, get in.
So the
And then I'd
water,
say,
would it be more water than anyone who was not going through it?
well, the thing is, yeah, we do tend to be less water as we age.
Yeah.
So you do want to be getting, I say just the minimum 3 liters, right?
Yeah.
But, you got to work yourself up to that. You
Yeah.
can't just start.
Yeah, I've done that. You know, when you
Someone,
have like a urine infection, you try and drink lots of water, and every minute you go in toilet.
yeah, exactly. You're just living there. So
Slowly.
you don't want to be doing that. So, like, just small manageable steps, things that they could, bring in would be really good, doing that. and then bring in some movement maybe if you're not moving.
And which movement do you think is the best for that age group to start with?
So the thing is, yeah, it is good to do strength training. That would be the best thing, because the more lean muscle that you have, the better you're going to age well. You're going to, your posture's going to stay, that's how we keep, standing up straight and
Yeah.
things like that. We want to keep all that, as long as possible. So I would say strength training. But if, like, anyone's worried, because sometimes people go, oh no, I'm not going gym, forget the gym, you don't
Yeah.
have to go. There's loads of online training. I do an online one in the morning, strength training.
I do online yoga.
Yeah, so
Um,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. And it saves time as well. So 30 minutes is good, that's enough sufficient time. But I would say strength, but then I would say, if not, just start off with walking.
Walking.
Mm.
I lost so much weight with walking before.
Mm.
I started after I had kids, and I was like, I'm gonna walk, and I just walked. I used to walk to see how far I could get,
Yeah.
and then one day I just wanted to walk the whole way, and then I thought, but how am I gonna get back? Then I was like, but you're too tired to come back. So okay, so we've got the small steps. So first, so you eat, make sure you eat 3 meals, then slowly intake your water, and then slowly do your exercise. And
Mm.
then do you think it would start showing in your symptoms, would start releasing? Or
Well, the thing is, yeah, is that it depends what someone's going through, really, as to, what's going to happen, and, whether, there's going to be immediate changes. It's just about trying to not to stress about it, because that's going to bring on the hot
Mhm.
flashes anyway, you know. Um, it's
Sometimes
just
it's when it's
about,
in your head that it's going to happen, it's going to keep happening, you know?
exactly. So it's
Yeah.
about trying to, you know, chill out about things, really.
Yeah.
I know it's difficult. I know it's hard. I remember the hot flashes, nightmare, night sweats. You're not getting enough sleep, and then you wake up and you're like, oh my God, I need to go back to sleep because I just didn't even sleep. So I totally understand how, women are feeling. So the thing is, it's just take one day at a time.
Mm.
You know what I mean? You'll get through to the other end, and then you'll feel amazing that, like, you got no periods. Thank God you ain't
I
got
know, I'm going to like that.
or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like, all you've got to think, okay, some people are concerned the kids have left, but, my kid is still here, unfortunately. No joke.
I've still got a while to leave. One
It's
day.
still here. Or parents get older, you might have to look after them. So, there's so much things going on that is going to make, that you've got to try and manage that stress, and just have an understanding of what's going on for you, and see what you can do one step at a time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the stress is going to be the one that's going to impact on those symptoms as well.
Do you know
So,
what I also think? Sorry to interrupt. I was thinking
yeah,
about, people around you because I feel like a lot of time they're not understood about what they're going through, or it's not looked upon as if it's like really affecting women.
yeah.
So I know that you have like a women's network. Is there anything that people can join, or is there any kind of communities that you have that someone can join to have some supportive network around them?
So, I mean, I run a menopause and women's health cafe, and I have done before. I started it in January 2020.
Oh wow.
Then we had lockdown.
Lockdown.
Yeah, so basically, yeah, me and a friend started it, and we had women that came, and in that first part, and it was really good. So we tried to do it online, it didn't really work, and that's probably because the women didn't really know us, and
Yeah.
it was just the start of lockdown, and we tried to do it then. Maybe if we'd waited a bit and done it. So then she moved out of the borough, so then I asked one of the ladies that were part of the first two meetings that we had to become my co-host. um so she became my co-host, and then we now run it in our local library. I was with, Menopause Cafe, before, when I did it originally, but then I moved away from them because they said that everyone have to come, right? And actually, whilst that can be good for men to come and, other people to come, what I felt was that as I was restarting again, I wanted the women to say how this would run, really.
Yeah.
So, what I tend to do is, like, we have a speaker, which they wouldn't say that you could have a speaker. So I have a speaker every month
Mm.
come to talk about different areas that women might be interested in. And I've kind of opened it up that it's women's health as well. So
Yeah.
we talked about, ovarian cancer. We've talked
Mhm.
about what's the other just flew in and flew out. Ooh.
Pelvic
Um,
floor. Anything.
we talked about PCOS. We had someone to come to talk about PCOS.
I suffered with that as well,
Yeah.
actually, for many years, and I actually couldn't get pregnant, and
Mm.
I had to do fertility medication,
Mm.
which has actually brought me. I went to had the recent test at the doctors who said that I'm now premenopausal, even though I'm just 38.
Okay.
So it's kind of a great time to talk to you, actually.
You're peri or pre?
Pre. So
Okay.
there's markers that come out of the blood showing that it's coming. Um,
Okay. Okay.
sooner, which they thought it might because my mum went so early as well. So
Yes, I remember you saying.
it was kind of likely, but I didn't
Yes.
expect it to hit me so hard. Like I just went from 6 months and just put on dramatic weight out of
Right.
nowhere.
Okay.
And I thought it was polycystic ovaries like coming
Yes.
back like
Yes.
and then I went for the scan and it wasn't. And I was like, wow. So it's
Mm.
incredible to have a community like what you said because and I think you're right because I do believe that women will open up more to other women because some of
Yes.
these things are harder to talk about in front of a man. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know, but I find it hard to talk about period in front of men. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they shouldn't be involved because it would be nice if they did know a bit more,
Yeah.
but maybe in their men's group to talk about it, about how to deal with their wives, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Exactly. Or what we said was maybe which we haven't done yet. One
yeah,
session that people could bring their husbands. Do you see what I'm saying?
yes,
So
that would be amazing
yeah.
to get
So
different
that
perspectives.
yeah, so that was one of the things as well. And then one session, bring daughters. Do you see what I mean? So that we're bringing the young people into it as well. So it's really
Yeah,
important for them to understand because obviously we don't get told anything at school, do we? I mean,
no,
not even about periods
we
properly. So
barely get told about that, to be fair.
so
Yeah.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah. We just get a big pink bag at school, like, here, take this and go.
I didn't even get a pink bag.
Oh,
You
you
would.
didn't get one. I'll send you one. Um, so I wanted to ask you, firstly, how would someone get involved in that if they wanted to come to any meetings or anything with you?
Yeah, so basically with the Menopause and Women's Health Cafe, we advertise it on Eventbrite. So you could, if you just put in Menopause and Women's Health Cafe, you'll find that. And people come from different boroughs.
Mhm.
If their borough hasn't got one, I mean, some boroughs have got them now, so it's quite good.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so people can come to that.
And if people wanted to come work with you specifically, Jackie, how could they,
Okay, so
how different?
so my website is www.wegrantfitness and health. So you can find me there really, or you can find me on Instagram or Facebook.
Great. If sorry, I was going to ask you if they wanted, could you be able to share all the links at the end, and I'll put it in the comments so people.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
I wanted to know if there's any less known symptoms that would surprise somebody. If you,
Yeah, so there are. So there's quite a few. Burning mouth.
burning
Um,
mouth.
yes,
Wow.
yeah. So
Know
you could
that.
get burning mouth syndrome. You could get tinnitus.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
vertigo.
Vertigo.
Yeah, yeah. Some
Very
people get.
interesting. I've had quite a few clients with that recently.
Yeah,
I might want to check that. If
yeah. So vertigo. What other things would be night eyesight driving that can be
is
impaired. So,
that?
yeah, so people need to make sure that they're regularly getting their eyes tested
Mm.
because yeah, night driving can get quite difficult
Oh, really?
sometimes with some women. Yeah, so that's one as well. What other things can I think of? So the thing is because you've got receptors, estrogen. Oh, itching.
Itching.
Oh God, because I get that
Yeah.
sometimes.
You're like, oh God. You look like you had chicken pox then.
I was like, itching.
No, I remember.
So
Oh, itching is
itching.
horrible though, because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hate
So
itching.
yeah, that is just an absolute nightmare.
Did anything help, like creams or anything like that?
No, well, you know what? Aloe vera,
Oh, yeah,
that helps.
that is
That
special.
really,
That.
yeah, aloe
Yeah.
vera.
Is there any like supplements that you recommend for people going
Well,
through?
I always say to people, right, the main thing that you need to be thinking about is really vitamin D, right? Because
Sunshine.
depending on where you live, like I live in London and
Me
it's
too.
generally grey.
Yeah, it's been great for about a month, like solid.
I'm telling you, it's blue today.
Yeah,
Unbelievable. I was out there with a client earlier. I was like, oh my God, it's blue.
it's finally.
So yeah, so vitamin D definitely. Magnesium is another one because the soil isn't as good as it used to be. In terms of people saying, "Oh yeah, I'll get magnesium from my food," but I would say that that's a really good one. And because a lot of women get restless legs, or if you're not sleeping, best to take that in the evening at night.
Take magnesium supplements before bed.
Yeah,
Okay, great.
exactly.
That's a great.
And then I would say the main one is omega. So those would be the three that I focus on. And obviously, if you can't have omega or algae, if you're vegan,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's great. I didn't realize that magnesium we'd had less from our food. I didn't really realize that. But now you said it, I just realized well the food is not really food anymore. So it makes
yeah.
sense.
I mean, the thing is because like years ago they used to crop rotate, didn't they? So they had one field where it was like just um, you know, it lay to rest type thing.
Yeah,
But now they just
keep
it's just
going.
constant. Do you see what I mean? So
So,
there's no resting for the soil to then bring back up the nutrients and then swap to the next one, back and forth so that they can so that the soil can get more nutrients to it because it's had the chance to rest.
it's amazing how the world is so incredible. Like it was built for us
Yeah,
almost, and that
yeah,
we're killing it
yeah.
and ourselves in the process.
we, we literally are.
Oh.
God, it's madness.
I'd love to think about the future. I was wondering what you thought about how do you think that like the future generations, how the conversations, how would you like them to go about menopause? Because I know a lot of people would like to have a conversation more. Do you think that
Yeah.
people are more open to it now?
I think that there's been a lot that's happened definitely because of when I started um
You
in
started
men
a while ago, didn't you? So
yeah,
maybe it was like,
there was no one talking about it, like
yeah,
literally no one. And I've been to I remember I went to I think it was a WI locally,
yeah,
and it wasn't really embraced for me to come and talk about it, if you see what I mean. Whereas now I've been to a couple of WIs and had a discussion and done workshops there. I've done a workshop with ASOS. I've done a workshop with Claremont Hotels. I've done a workshop with a women's gym that's not far from me. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's becoming more that people are interested in understanding it more, and also because we are how much of the population?
yeah. At
You know
least
what I
half.
mean? And there's going to be, more of us are going to be in post-menopause in this year. I
Yeah.
can't remember how many billions there
Lot.
is. So the discussions are there, and I'm glad the discussions are there, and I'm glad that it's changed. Do you know what I mean?
I'm glad it's opening up as well because if you think back when you was in your workplace and you were suffering, even though you wasn't sure what it was at the time, there's so many ladies now that are in these jobs who are struggling as well. So it's really important that it does get the message coming out, like the HR supports the
Yeah,
this because it can actually prevent people going through stress, having breakdowns, like not working. So I
Yeah.
think it would be nice to see it being opened up and
And
taken
also
seriously.
leaving their jobs,
Yeah, because look
you
how many
know.
people have left, which
Yeah, leaving
they
their jobs.
probably,
So, if you think about the workforce, and if you think that if women are in their mid 40s, they've more likely got a high, high paying job. If you've been,
yeah, because you've
working for,
obviously grown up your kids by then. And
exactly.
yeah,
So, there's going to be a lot of women that are going to have a lot of stress going on, and, loads of things to think about, especially if you're a senior manager. And so it's really important that it's embraced for the workplace because, I mean, I was lucky enough not to be having my hot flashes then.
mm,
I was only had the anxiety, but if I had hot flashes and going
yeah,
to a meeting, I think, do
it
you
would
know what
be
I mean?
hard.
At least I was self-employed and I'll be meeting someone face to face in a coffee shop. It was all right.
This is the good thing about working for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Which is what I like because whenever you're sick or you can rearrange, which is I
Exactly.
think a lot of ladies I'm working with in the coaching have actually done this. They've got to this certain age where they're going through the menopause and they've actually switched careers completely.
Yeah.
They transition into their own business.
Yeah.
So many of the clients have done
Mm.
that, have left their corporate and done
Yeah.
that. And it makes me think, I wonder if there's a link between that age and the menopause and why that's happening.
Yeah. Because the thing is, it's like, it's almost like you feel like what I can remember for myself, I felt like I can't be doing this. This thing's bringing me to be old, man. I need to leave now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or it's killing me off.
Yeah. Oh, but do you know what is sad sometimes about this is that people feel like that they're alone.
Yeah.
And a lot of women I know struggle alone with this and
Mm.
they do not like to talk. Even a lot of women, I know we talk a lot to each other, but
Mm.
even women to women sometimes they don't talk about this. So I'm very glad that you was on today because I really wanted it to get this message out because it's so important to
Mm.
to even just notice and be aware of your symptoms, like what's coming up, like you when you was stressed and you didn't realize the anxiety, what it was coming from. A lot of time we go for medicine, we go for that, but we don't take time to like process what's going on in our
Mm.
mind and body connection. So it's been lovely having you here.
Thank
I do
you.
want to ask you before you go, if you
Mm.
could like prime someone's mind for menopause, what would be like the one tip or one bit of advice that you'd want them to stay with them?
I would say that if you're not already looking after your health, start now.
Love that. There you
Mm.
go. That's
Yeah.
incredible. Thank you so much for coming, Jackie. It's so lovely to have
Mm.
you on because you're such an incredible and empowering. You're so empowering for women, and I love that. So everyone, whoever's listening, make sure you connect with Jackie, even join her community or work with her one-on-one. It can help your weight loss as well. And it's been a pleasure to have you on, Jackie. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah. See you again.
Bye.